In this episode, let's begin. Our first temple of the day is Wat Phikun Wararam. I'm probably saying it incorrectly, but it is located within Phitsanulok. I have been to this temple before, probably 15 years ago, and we actually ended up at this temple for the very same reason as we did previously before. Your typical temple will actually be able to do multiple different things. For example, you have your service that you have every week where people come and make prayer, do tambun, make merit. You also have a usually large structure, temple building, which is used for more of the special religious ceremonies, like the ordaining of a monk, which is more like a rite of passage for some of the younger men. You can also use the temple grounds for larger religious ceremonies and holidays. But one of the things that some of the temples offer is fortune telling, and that is actually the purpose of our visit today. So while my wife has gone into the dark, deep recesses of the temple, I have taken the time to take video of the temple grounds, and she's actually speaking with the monks. So typically what happens is you make a small donation, you give them various numbers like birth dates and ages and other special events, and they plug it in, refer to a special little book, and magically they're able to tell your future. You believe what you want to believe. Some things come true, some things don't, but if it's going to help somebody get through some of those tough times, I'm all for it. So if you were to look at Google Maps, you would see that the land that the temple is built on is very long and narrow, very large rectangle. So it's interesting to see how they optimize the usage of the land. I'm curious how long it would take to make one of these. I'm sure that they're constructed out of concrete. Definitely beautiful statues. These are one of my favorites. Inside this part of the temple is where my wife is, with the monks doing the fortune telling. A lot of little statues there, all of them holding little bowls where you can actually make a donation. And we're off back to the car, on to the next temple.
Wat Phuttha Chinnarat.
We are on to our second temple, and this temple is in the heart of Phitsanulok. I had to leave the pronunciation of the temple name to my wife because I would have totally destroyed it, which is not good. This is one of the larger temples, if not the largest temple in Phitsanulok. A lot of people from all over the country like to come and visit this temple. It is famous for its huge golden statue that sits in the middle of the temple. The cool thing about the temple grounds is that it's actually a combination of new and old. So in the front part, where most of the visitors come, it's more of the newer structures, but if you go behind towards the parking lot area, you will find some of the older original temple grounds. Personally, I always like the older historical pieces. I like to see the way that they constructed. I like to see what's left around from the ages, whether it be battles, wars, just weather, rain, earthquakes. I know that's more of a problem in the northern part towards Chiang Mai. They've been hit with some earthquakes up there, and it's actually taken down some of the older structures. So this is inside the temple, and as you can see, there's that gleaming, beautiful gold statue right in the center. All the focus is on it. Breathtaking. Not a lot of people look at it, but if you point your eyes up towards the ceiling, it is equally amazing. The weekends are usually the most busiest time, and you'll have a huge influx of people visiting. It's really cool to see all these mini golden Buddha statues lined up. I didn't count how many are lined up, but there's quite a few. It stretches around the corner and down. I'm going to guess that it encircles the whole temple building. And before I forget, they have a museum on the grounds which houses a lot of ancient artifacts. I love this view. Unfortunately, we didn't stop at the old portion of this temple. Instead, we jogged on over to a neighboring temple. Welcome to Wat Nang Phaya. Every time I come to this temple, I always gravitate towards the back of the grounds, and that's where you'll find some of the original structures. The temple was constructed somewhere between 1448 to 1488. It's a fairly old temple. In the center of the grounds, there's a newer temple building that is built. I like the fact that they have decorated the outer wall, putting statues and paintings on the wall itself. And every time my wife and I visit these temples, we always want to make sure that we do a tambun or make merit. This makes us feel better. So my wife made some prayers first, and after that, then she grabbed the camera from me and took video of me making prayers. I like the smell of the incense, but sometimes it actually triggers allergies, runny nose, especially if it's indoors. Applying the gold foil to the statue is not as easy as it looks. The other thing to note is that when you walk inside the temple, painted on the walls of the temple are murals which depict the life of Buddha. Not all of the temples have this, but this one did, and it's always nice to see. Thanks for coming along with us on this triple temple adventure, and see you next time. Thanks for watching! And if you enjoyed this video, please click one of the video links below or click the playlist.